My girlfriend laughed and said, deleting dating apps is something people do when a relationship is actually serious, and ours isn't. Hearing that after 18 months together, I just nodded and said, all right. I reopened my apps too, and surprisingly, my very first match was her sister. That Sunday's family dinner completely changed the atmosphere. I'm 27, and until 3 weeks ago, I thought I was in a committed relationship. Lauren and I had been together for a year and a half. We met through mutual friends at a rooftop bar in downtown Seattle, hit it off immediately over terrible karaoke and shared hatred of cilantro, and within 2 months, she'd left a toothbrush at my place. 6 months in, she had a drawer. A year in, we were talking about moving in together, looking at apartments with better natural light and space for a home office. I thought we were building something real, something that would last. Last Tuesday changed everything. We were lying in bed around 10 p.m., scrolling through our phones like any other weeknight. I was reading an article about the new AI regulations, and she was next to me, the blue light from her screen illuminating her face. I noticed she was swiping through something with that distinctive left-right motion, and when I glanced over, I saw the familiar interface of a dating app. The colorful profile cards, the little heart, and X buttons. My stomach dropped like I'd missed a step going downstairs. Are you serious right now? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady and failing. She didn't even look embarrassed. Just shrugged, like I'd asked about the weather. What? It's not a big deal. We've been together for 18 months, Lauren. Why are you still on dating apps? That's when she said it, turning to look at me like I was being completely ridiculous, like I'd suggested the earth was flat. Deleting dating apps is something people do when a relationship is actually serious, and ours isn't. I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. The air left my lungs. What do you mean ours isn't serious? We've been together for over a year. We've met each other's families multiple times. We spent Thanksgiving with your parents. We've talked about moving in together, about adopting a dog next spring. She sat up, tucking her hair behind her ear in that way she does when she's about to say something she thinks is profound and enlightened. Look, we're having fun, and I care about you. I really do, but I'm not ready to close off all my options. I'm 25. I want to keep my prospects open, see what else is out there. You should do the same if it bothers you that much. I won't be upset. So what have we been doing for the past 18 months? Dating casually, enjoying each other's company, having a good time. She was using that patient voice people use when explaining something obvious to a child. I never said we were exclusive. We literally had a conversation about being exclusive at 3 months. You said you wanted to be my girlfriend. You introduced me to your grandmother as your boyfriend. Yeah, girlfriend. Not wife. Not life partner. There's a difference. She was smiling now, like this was all very reasonable and mature. You're taking this way too seriously. If you want to see other people too, go ahead. I won't be mad. In fact, I think it's healthy. I stared at her for a long moment, processing the fact that the woman I'd been planning a future with saw me as a placeholder, a temporary arrangement until something better came along. All right, I said finally, my voice flat. If that's how you want it. She actually looked relieved, her shoulders relaxing. Good. I'm glad we're on the same page now. This is so much better than those couples who get all possessive and weird, you know? She fell asleep 20 minutes later like nothing had happened, curled up on her side, breathing deeply. I lay awake until 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, watching the shadows from passing cars slide across the walls. My mind kept replaying every moment of our relationship, looking for signs I'd missed, red flags I'd ignored. The next morning, after she left for work around 8:30 with a cheerful, "Have a good day," like we discussed lunch plans instead of the fundamental nature of our relationship, I sat on my couch for an hour. Then I picked up my phone and re-downloaded every dating app I deleted when we got together. Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, all of them. If she wanted to play this game, fine. I wasn't going to be the only one sitting around waiting while she shopped for my replacement. I updated my profile with recent photos from a hiking trip last month, wrote a bio that felt authentic, and started swiping. I wasn't even really looking. I was angry, hurt, and acting on impulse more than genuine interest. Within an hour, I had several matches. Most I ignored. But then one profile loaded, and my blood ran cold. It was Brooke, Lauren's younger sister. I'd met Brooke several times at family gatherings over the past year and a half. Birthdays, holidays, the occasional Sunday dinner. She was 23, a graduate student in architecture at the University of Washington, and honestly, I'd never thought of her as anything other than my girlfriend's sister. But there she was, with photos from a recent trip to Portugal, smiling at the camera in front of colorful tile walls, another of her at her drafting table covered in building sketches. She looked like Lauren, same dark hair and sharp cheekbones, but somehow warmer in her expressions. Her first message came through before I could even process what to do. Well, this is awkward. Or is it? I stared at my phone for 5 full minutes, my thumb hovering over the keyboard, before responding. Definitely awkward. Should I unmatch? Probably. But I'm kind of curious why my sister's boyfriend is on here. Ex-boyfriend, apparently. Found out last night we were never actually serious. News to me after 18 months. Oh God. She pulled the keeping options open speech, didn't she? Word for word. You've heard it before. She did the same thing to her last boyfriend, Tyler. And the one before that, James. I love my sister, but she treats relationships like rental cars, convenient while she needs them, returned when something shinier comes along. I'm really sorry she did that to you. You seemed like one of the good ones. We messaged back and forth for the next hour. It started as commiseration, shared frustration over Lauren's behavior, but somewhere along the way, it became actual conversation. Brooke was funny, self-aware, and refreshingly direct. She told me about her thesis project on affordable housing design, her terrible roommate who left dishes in the sink for days, her cat named Frank Lloyd Wright. When she suggested we grab coffee that Friday, I hesitated for about 10 seconds before saying yes. Update 1. Coffee with Brooke was supposed to be a one-time thing. Just 2 people who'd been screwed over by the same person, sharing war stories, and moving on. But when Friday came around, we ended up talking for 3.5 hours at a small cafe downtown, the kind with mismatched furniture and local art on the walls. She showed me her thesis sketches, detailed plans for modular housing units that could be assembled quickly for homeless populations. I told her about my work in software development, debugging code for a healthcare startup, my frustration with Lauren, my confusion about what the past 1.5 years had even meant. Can I be honest? Brooke said, stirring her second latte, creating little swirls in the foam. I always thought you were too good for her. Lauren's my sister and I love her, but she doesn't know what she wants. She just knows she wants everything available to her at all times. She wants security and excitement, commitment and freedom, all simultaneously. That's pretty accurate, I admitted. I thought I was building something real. Turns out I was just there, occupying space until the next thing came along. For what it's worth, her loss. She smiled, and I noticed for the first time that while she and Lauren looked similar, Brooke had a kindness in her eyes that Lauren didn't, a genuineness that made you feel heard. We exchanged numbers, real numbers, not just app messages, and agreed to meet again. Walking back to my car, I felt something I hadn't felt in days, lightness. Like maybe this whole situation wasn't just a disaster. That Sunday was their family's monthly dinner. Lauren had invited me weeks ago, and I'd completely forgotten about it until she texted me Saturday afternoon. You're still coming tomorrow, right? Mom's making her lasagna. The good one with the bechamel. I thought about canceling, making up an excuse about work or feeling sick. But something petty and angry inside me decided to go. I wanted to see how Lauren would act in front of her family, knowing what she'd said to me. And maybe, a small part of me wanted to see Brooke again, even though I knew it was complicated. When I arrived at their parents' house Sunday evening, a nice craftsman in Ballard with a garden full of roses, Lauren greeted me at the door with a kiss on the cheek, like nothing had changed. Hey babe, she said, loud enough for her mother to hear from the kitchen where pots were clanging. Brooke was in the living room, and when our eyes met, something passed between us, an understanding, maybe, or a shared secret. The dinner started normally enough. Their father, a retired electrician named Tom, asked about my work and told a long story about his own days dealing with difficult clients. Their mother, Patricia, fussed over whether the lasagna was too dry and kept refilling water glasses. Lauren played the perfect girlfriend, touching my arm, laughing at my jokes, asking if I wanted more bread. Then their mother said, "So, have you two thought any more about moving in together?" Lauren mentioned last month you were looking at places in Capitol Hill. Lauren jumped in immediately. "Oh, we're still figuring out timing, Mom. No rush, right, honey? We want to make sure we find the perfect place." Before I could respond, Brooke spoke up from across the table. "Actually, Mom, I don't think they're at that stage yet. Right, Lauren? You were just telling me the other day how you like to keep things casual and low pressure. The table went silent. You could hear the grandfather clock ticking in the hallway. Lauren's face flushed red. I didn't say that. You did. Tuesday night, on the phone around 11. You said you weren't ready to settle down yet, that you wanted to keep your options open and see what else was out there. Lauren's eyes darted to me, then back to Brooke, panic creeping into her expression. That's not. You're taking it completely out of context. I was speaking hypothetically. Am I? Brooke's voice was calm but pointed, like a lawyer presenting evidence. She turned to me. How would you describe your relationship status right now? I could have stayed quiet. Could have played along with whatever game Lauren was running, spared her the embarrassment in front of her parents. But I was tired. Tired of being confused. Tired of being treated like an option. According to Lauren, we're casually dating. Not serious. Which is why she's still active on dating apps, swiping through matches while lying in bed next to me. Their mother's fork clattered against her plate, the sound sharp in the quiet room. Lauren Marie, is that true? He's twisting things. We just have different definitions of what commitment means. I never said. I saw your profile, Lauren. Brooke interrupted, her voice steady. When I matched with him on Thursday morning. Your bio says you're exploring connections and keeping things light. Pretty clear definition. The room exploded. Their father demanded explanations, his voice rising. Their mother looked horrified, asking how Lauren could treat someone like this. Lauren was shouting at Brooke, calling her a traitor, asking how she could betray her own sister, how she could match with her boyfriend. Brooke calmly explained that I wasn't her boyfriend by Lauren's own admission and definition. You're a snake. Lauren screamed, standing up so fast her chair tipped backward. You've always been jealous of me, and now you're trying to steal my relationship. You can't steal something that doesn't exist, Brooke replied quietly. I sat there, watching 18 months of my life unravel in real time, feeling strangely detached from it all. Finally, Lauren turned to me, tears streaming down her face, mascara running in black streaks. Are you seriously not going to defend me? You're just going to sit there and let her destroy us. There is no us, Lauren. You made that very clear on Tuesday night. She grabbed her purse and stormed out, slamming the front door hard enough to rattle the picture frames on the wall. The dinner table sat in stunned silence for a long moment. A car started outside, Lauren's Civic, and tires squealed as she pulled away too fast. Their mother turned to me with apologetic eyes, reaching across the table to pat my hand. I'm so sorry. I had no idea she was treating you like this. You've always been so good to our family. It's not your fault, Mrs. Patterson. Their father just shook his head, looking disappointed and angry. I raised her better than this. Brooke drove me home that night in her beat-up Honda with architecture textbooks scattered across the back seat. We didn't talk much during the drive, just listened to some indie playlists she had on. But when she pulled up to my building, she turned to me and said, "That was brutal. I'm sorry it went down like that." Don't be. It needed to happen. I hesitated, then added, "Can I take you to dinner? A real one, not coffee." She smiled, dimples appearing in her cheeks. I'd like that. Update 2. Lauren didn't contact me for 4 days after the dinner. No calls, no texts, complete silence. Then, at 11 p.m. on Thursday, my phone started blowing up. 17 missed calls in the span of 30 minutes, dozens of texts, all variations of the same message. We need to talk. You owe me a conversation. You humiliated me in front of my family. How could you do this to me? I responded once. You humiliated yourself. I just told the truth. She showed up at my apartment Friday morning at 7:30 a.m. I only opened the door because she wouldn't stop ringing the buzzer, and I was worried she'd wake my neighbors. She looked terrible, hair unwashed and thrown into a messy bun, eyes puffy and bloodshot, wearing the same yoga pants and sweatshirt from Sunday. You turned my own family against me, she said, pushing past me into the apartment without waiting for an invitation. I didn't turn anyone against you. I told them the truth about what you said. You embarrassed me, in front of my parents. And now you're dating my sister? Are you actually kidding me right now? We've been on one date, Lauren. One coffee. And you specifically told me to see other people. You said it was healthy. Not her. Anyone but her. This is sick. Lauren was pacing now, running her hands through her hair, unraveling the bun. This is revenge, isn't it? You're trying to hurt me because I was honest about my feelings. Not everything is about you, Lauren. Brooke is kind, she's honest, she communicates clearly, and she treats me like I actually matter. That's not revenge. That's just moving on to someone better. She started crying then, the kind of dramatic sobbing that used to make me drop everything to comfort her, to hold her and promise everything would be okay. This time, I stayed where I was, arms crossed, waiting for her to finish. I didn't mean it, she choked out between sobs. When I said we weren't serious, I was scared of commitment. But I love you. I do. I realize that now. You loved having someone reliable and steady while you shopped around for something better. That's not the same thing as actually loving me. Please, we can fix this. I'll delete all the apps right now. I'll do whatever you want. We can start over. I don't want you to delete the apps for me. I want you to be honest with yourself about what you actually want. And I want you to leave my apartment. She stared at me, mascara running down her cheeks in dark rivulets, looking for any sign that I'd give in, that I'd fold the way I always had before. When she didn't find it, when she realized I was serious, she grabbed her bag and left without another word, slamming the door behind her. Brooke and I had our second date that night at an Italian place in Fremont. Then a third the following week at a movie, some indie film she'd been wanting to see. By the end of the month, we were seeing each other 2 or 3 times a week. It wasn't rushed or complicated, just easy in a way things with Lauren never were. Brooke communicated clearly, showed up when she said she would, texted back within reasonable time frames, and treated the relationship like something worth protecting and nurturing. Lauren tried to interfere twice more. Once, she told their parents that I'd been cheating on her with Brooke the whole time, that we'd been having an affair for months behind her back. Brooke immediately shut that down with receipts, screenshots of my dating profile creation date, timestamps on our first messages, everything documented and clear. Their mother was furious with Lauren for lying. The second time, Lauren called me drunk at 2 a.m. on a Wednesday, slurring her words and begging me to come over, saying she'd made a huge mistake and needed to see me. I blocked her number after that. Final update. It's been 3 months since that Sunday dinner. Lauren moved to Chicago in late November for a job opportunity with some marketing firm, or to escape the family drama, probably both reasons tangled together. Their mother apologized to me again last week at Brooke's thesis presentation, saying she wished she'd raised Lauren to value people more, to understand what commitment meant. I told her it wasn't her fault. Some people just need to learn the hard way. Brooke and I are taking things slow, but we're genuinely happy. Real happy. The kind where you're not constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop or checking their phone when they're in the bathroom. She helped me repaint my living room 2 weeks ago, and we spent an entire Saturday covered in agreeable gray paint, laughing at our terrible rolling technique. She's been leaving coffee mugs here, forgetting hair ties on my bathroom counter, and her cat Frank stayed over last weekend. It feels like building something real this time, brick by brick. I saw Lauren's Instagram last week. She's dating someone new already, some consultant named Brandon she met at a work conference in November. They're already posting couple photos, already doing that thing where they finish each other's sentences and captions. Good for her, honestly. I hope she figures out what she wants before she wastes another 1.5 years of someone else's life. As for me, I learned that when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Don't wait for the second or third demonstration. And sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's just finding someone who actually wants to be with you, who deletes the apps without being asked, who treats you like a priority instead of an option. Edit. A lot of people are asking if Brooke and I are moving too fast since we got together right after Lauren. Honestly, it doesn't feel fast. It feels like finally moving at the right pace with someone who's on the same page. Edit 2. Lauren apparently told her friends I'm a manipulative predator who groomed her sister. Brooke's handling it. Their parents shut that down immediately.